Breaking Bad is a good show. Doi? Okay, I have a point with this, so bear with me. If I told you that, like I just did, that Breaking Bad was a breaking through show, I mean, I'm not saying anything new at all. You already know that Breaking Bad is a good show. You most likely know why it's a good show. And I could tell you all about what's good and breathtaking and very entertaining and well done in general about this show. Characters, story progression, pacing, structural solidity of the narrative. I could tell you all of these things. But that wouldn't change the fact that, well, I would just be reaching the same conclusion everyone else has already reached. That Breaking Bad is a great show. So, here's where I'm going with this. What would be more interesting for me to do to entertain you? Discussing about a show you already know it's good? Or discussing about a show that it's so infamous that most people tried actively to avoid it?
Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
Welcome one and all to the Riding Rainbow, a series of vlogs dedicated to the analysis, episode after episode, of the original G1's My Little Pony show from the 1980s. Yes, I'm going to do that in vlog form, because that's the popular thing to do apparently. So, here I am. Okay, so traditionally, you would start from the first episode of a show, but unfortunately, these DVD sets were packaged with the Italian broadcasting of the original show in mind. Therefore, the first episode is not the first episode as it was originally intended, but who cares? I mean, this show most certainly doesn't care about continuity, so let's just start this. So, the first episode that I happened across, it's about criminal flowers. Okay, let's talk about it. I expect an episode of classic My Little Pony to start in many different ways. I most certainly wasn't expecting it to start with giant enemy crabs! No, seriously. The Dream Valley is apparently attacked by giant enemy crabs who are eradicating all the trees. A couple of Pegasus ponies, of which I cannot learn the names to save my life, try to stop them. That fails. So the first thing they do is go to their human friend Megan and asking her for help. Because, yeah, when you cannot solve your own problems, you immediately have to go to the ask someone else's help without even actually trying to fix your problems. Great moral, kid. So let's talk about Megan briefly. She, at first I thought she was the self-insertion character for the intended audience of the show. As she was presented, you might remember, in the original pilot of the show, Rescue at Midnight Castle, which I watched along with Lyra.
Can I go home? Oh no, instead I'm going to bloody mud mudging. Did you see what she did? She just attacked the dragon with a... That was badass.
It was quite the experience. But apparently I was wrong, because apparently Megan is supposed to be the all-encompassing moral high ground character that's always in the right and always knows what's best and what to do, and she's also a bit overpowered too. What I'm trying to say is that Megan is a bit of a Mary Sue, and everyone else is lacking in personality too, so they're all pretty interchangeable between one another. But basically what happens in this episode? Unsurprisingly, the giant enemy crabs are actually giant police officers crabs. Just go with it. And the flowers, which were actually literal living plant-based life forms, are actually criminals, and they will consume the land to gain strength and size and become all powerful tentacle monsters. Yeah, about that, yeah. There are tentacle vines in this cartoon. Okay, so the first My Little Pony cartoon I watched, it has giant crabs and monster plants with tentacle vines. And they capture the ponies and Megan with those vines at some point. Okay, so these evil criminal plant life forms end up ruining the garden of this one gardening pony who hosted them, and I'm going to call her Earth Pony Fluttershy, because she's basically Fluttershy without the wings. And without a personality too, but that's besides the point. Also, she has these alien green eyes, and when I say green, I mean the green is where the white is supposed to be. So it's pretty unsettling. But anyway, Megan basically spells out for us the lesson of the day, with that you shouldn't be judging someone by the cover of the book and cover. You know the drill. Because the crabs were the good guys and the plants were the bad guys. And the lesson of the day is spelled to us in song form. Joy. Really. But wait, there's more. There are 2 songs, by the way, in this cartoon, none of which are, well, not worthy. So there is this fight scene with the crabs at the beginning of the episode in which they try to capture the plant. The plants, at the time, the ponies did not know they were criminals. So there is this battle, and somehow the little ponies and the little girl managed to defeat the giant enemy crabs, which was something that happened. They captured them and they locked them inside a prison made of stones. They have one, apparently. Oh, and by the way, when the crabs were defeated, that's the moment they revealed they were police officers. Why couldn't they just tell them to begin with, so none of this trouble would have happened? So, but they didn't, because the writers are lazy, but unsurprisingly, so yeah, so every single one of these characters is being a complete moron. Oh, well, there is something, well, I find interesting. There is a pony wearing a hoodie in this short. Yeah, that's something that happens. I mean, it was cute. Adorable, even. Okay, so all of this is building up to the third act of this cartoon, in which there is the epic battle between ponies and crabs versus the nigh invincible plant monsters creatures. And at the very end, the proud and brave police officer crabs managed to win the day by threatening to kill the leader of the monster plants, thus forcing his associates to surrender. Huh. Well, at least the good guys won. Because they are the good guys. Right? Eh? Well, in conclusion, lazy writing, lazy animation, and unimpressive characters, really, and hideous, idiotic misunderstandings that could have been easily avoided with a little bit of intelligence from both parts. In other words, it's really not all that different from any other 1980s cartoon ever made. Watching My Little Pony is not any different than watching the Smurfs. Well, aside from the fact that each and every Smurf had its own personality, one-note personality, but it's still better than nothing. Okay, so this was one episode, 60-something more to go. Joy! And now, for the clip of the day.
I guess this'll teach her who to root for, huh? Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
This episode was amazing. Oh, I don't even know where to start with this. Well, I suppose I should start from the beginning. So, the ponies and Megan come across a treasure chest filled with magical coins that grant random wishes. You know, something like there are specific coins with specific wish they could grant. Remember that, because it's important for later. So one coin is able to grant a magic-related wish to enhance someone's power, and another one accidentally ended up wishing never to have rain again on Dream Valley. Because the rain was ruining the picnic. So, this one pony who wished that stupid wish ended up dooming the entire valley to an eternity of famine and death, and she almost single-handedly killed the entire population of the sea ponies.
Sea ponies?
Are those mutated demon horses from hell? What is that?
And by entire population, I mean all three of them. Anyway, so this is an adventure arc in 4 episodes, and they all venture into an adventure, traveling in the desert like a landscape to find the original owner of the magical coins, so he might be able to solve the problem with his own knowledge and whatnot. It's never explained how he would be able to do that, but it's magic! You don't have to explain it. So they travel and travel, and they find the troll eventually, because it's a troll, of course, except he's not very cooperative, and he's also kind of a jerk and a loner and whatnot. So he's kind of pissed off they consume his treasure chest, even though it was never established how he lost it in the first place, or how... Bleh. Anyway, so he wants something of the same value to him to substitute the treasure, the coins that they consume, because apparently in a matter of days they were able to consume the entirety of the treasure chests, coins, with stupid wishes, including a really retarded clown makeup. Never mind that. So they try to gather serious kinds of treasures and stones and magic things, and they fail every time, and so they go home empty-handed. So they failed, basically. They couldn't save the land of the dreams from from the famine, and from the eternal sun, and from turning into a freaking desert in a matter of days. And speaking of which, one of the ponies, being stupid, particularly stupid, causes a fire that almost destroys everything. Which actually leads to one of the better moments of the episode, because the ponies who remain home during this ordeal actually try to do something intelligent and fight the fire. Although if they really were all out of water that fast, they should have all just been dead of dehydration. Also, the sea ponies, they should have been dead.
Someone burn it with fire! Burn them with fire quick!
You know,
Someone dragged them to the surface and suffocated them!
They
Whatever.
took-
Stop singing! Stop existing! Admit that one's mane looks pretty nice. But still, someone burned them!
But anyway, Megan, being super mega angelic Mary Christ Megan that she is, has the brilliant idea on how to solve the situation with the last remaining wishing coin she had left. And the solution to the problem was... You're going to laugh at this? Homosexuality! She goes back to the troll. She used the coin to wish him a friend to take care of him, and this friend actually appears out of nowhere, a troll exactly like him, a male troll, and starts cleaning out his house because they're going to live together from now on. She wished a friend for him, a friend. He's not lonely anymore. He's happy. And so he somehow magically solves all the problems, and the Dream Valley becomes fertile once more and starts raining, and the sea ponies are saved. Joy. And there is a song at the end, and that's the end of it. Homosexuality saves the day. Wow. I mean, this, like I said, this episode is amazing. It is so stupid, yet so funny because of that. I didn't even mention some of the idiotic details about it, like this random character that appears out of nowhere for seemingly no reason and helps out the ponies halfway during their journey towards the troll's house. And he helps them, and then we never see him again. He had absolutely no reason to be in this story to begin with. He contributes exactly nothing. And yet he's there. Pointless. Also, in this episode, I am officially introduced to Megan's siblings. Little Molly and Danny Boy. Danny, who has the utter misfortune of being a male boy character in a show for little girls. May Celestia have mercy of his soul. Also, yes, there are the sea ponies, and this is the sound of Lyra screaming in agony. Shooby-doo, shoo-shooby-doo, and all that, yes. This episode is the whole package. It summarizes the entire show in 4 episodes. It's a pointless adventurous journey filled with completely random MacGuffins appearing out of nowhere and character completely inconsistent, and also a resolution that feels so idiotic, it's actually brilliant. Not to mention the completely unintentional pro-homosexual message of this cartoon, because that's what saves the day in the end. The fact that they give this troll a companion for life. And they even sing about it. Wow! My Little Pony is gay. And I mean that literally. So this was the episode about the magical wishing coins, and it's all over the place. It's ridiculous and I love it. Oh my gosh. Oh, and of course Megan is being her usual Mary Sue self. You know, when they're all traversing the desert to go to these trolls. Everyone is understandably tired and dehydrated, but not Megan. No, she's fine. She's perfectly fine. She's perfectly okay, and she says, "Come on, everybody, let's sing a song so we can feel better about this situation." I have a song for you. I am dying in the desert. I hate you so much. Go kill yourself, Megan. Nobody likes you. Oh. There is a character actually that's more noteworthy in this sea of pony faces. And I'm going to call her Smartsypan, because that's basically her role. She's the one who either says something really intelligent for delivering exposition, or pointing out the obvious. So she is Smarty Pants. That's what I'm calling her. Smarty Pants. Yeah. What else? Oh yeah, Firefly! Made an appearance. Very small appearance.
I say, look there! I do believe it's a fire!
Oh, and also, there's the first appearance of actual foals and fillies in this episode. They live all in a nursery and whatnot. And that's about it.
Thank you. I mean, this guy may be a pain when it comes to keeping things neat, but well, I never had a...
I know what you're trying to say, Niblick. Friendship is a wish come true.
Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
Okay, so this episode, there's a ghost that's haunting the house where the pony lives, and except it's not really a ghost, it's actually some sort of a shape-shifting bird that's looking for half of an amulet so she can unite the two pieces and then defeat some sort of a evil octopus overlord thingy, and stuff happens. There's more stuff happening. I believe, I don't quite remember this episode, despite what I just made it sound. It's the epitome of boredom. It's really, it's a whole bunch of nothing upon atop a cake of nothing with nothing on top of it. It's really lifeless, so to speak. Again, even with the giant octopus overlord that's threatening to take over the Dream Valley because he wants this amulet that once was his, and there's the grandfather of this shape-shifting bird who takes this amulet. I already forgotten what this episode was all about. It's really all that boring and forgettable. So random scenery. Take a look at the scenery. Take a look at this is where I live. Beautiful place, isn't it? Look at the grass. Look at the lake over there. It's things and the trees, and this is interesting. This is far more interesting than the episode, isn't it? But in all seriousness, this was definitely a lifeless episode. I mean, after the glory of the previous one with all the magical coins and the gay ex machina and all that, this one was pretty disappointing to witness and also incredibly forgettable. That's why I'm actually going to focus this blog on discussing the overarching issues with the show so far. Okay, let's start with the comedy. This show relies heavily on physical humor and slapstick. Unfortunately, the animation budget is obviously limited. Very, very limited. As such, the timing is off for every pitiful attempt at a joke. There aren't enough frames to give justice to a proper physical gag. Now, there is this attempt at a Rube Goldberg joke in this arc, in this particular episode, but it fails miserably because, again, the timing is off, there are not enough frames of animation, and the production overall is pretty cheap. And speaking of animation and animated inconsistencies, it is very, very inconsistent, the animation, I mean. Okay, so this episode starts off with fillies, or baby ponies, being terrified by the ghost. At some point, however, adult ponies are introduced in the episode, and I couldn't quite notice them because the proportions were all over the place. For example, in one scene you place a filly, a baby pony, next to Megan, and it will look larger than it actually should be, and in the next scene it will look smaller again compared to Megan. So proportions all over the place, completely inconsistent. And the same could be said for adult ponies. Most of the times there is no obvious difference between an adult pony or a baby pony. You really need to see the entire scene from a distance to actually make a difference between proportions and overall physical masses, so to speak. So, comedy and animation are pretty low quality, and the two things are intertwined to work properly, so it's a double failure at the price of one. And speaking of big failures, the songs. The songs. There is one song for every episode, and at least up until this point. I don't know if this trend changes over the course of the season, but yeah, there is one song in every episode. Every episode is 10 minutes long, by the way. I won't say they are terrible, because for something to be terrible, it has to be some level of memorable. These songs are completely forgettable, mesmerizingly void of anything even remotely interesting or worth remembering. They are not worthy in the slightest. In fact, most of the times they're even damaging the context in which they are brought up, because there is actually no context for them to exist in the first place. There is no usually a justified setup for a character to start singing, and in the worst case scenarios it even damages the episode itself. For example, the ghost, or what we thought was a ghost that was haunting the pony's villa. And by the way, what happened to the castle they had in the pilot episode? Whatever. So it's haunting the villa, and it starts singing about being a ghost and being terrifying and all that. It even starts off some sort of a ridiculous Scooby-Doo-like chase sequence with the song, which, by the way, looks absolutely terrible, and the timing is off for the reason we already established. And then immediately after that, it's revealed that the ghost was this shape-shifting bird I mentioned earlier, which makes this whole song that we just witnessed completely pointless. Because it's not a ghost, and it has a completely different motivation. It's filler, of the worst possible kind. But that's not even the worst kind of song you could come across in this show. The worst kind of song is the kind of song that literally takes you, well, figuratively, but takes you away from the cartoon you're actually watching. It feels like an alienating piece of stock footage that's been taken from another show altogether and plastered in between scenes of a cartoon. And it feels particularly alienating it because other than being completely unnecessary, it's awfully distracting because it doesn't have a context to exist in the first place. So what I'm getting at is the songs in this show are completely pointless. It fails as a musical cartoon, it fails as, well, proper animation. It's lazy. This show is very lazy. Sometimes you get spectacular laziness that brings up unintentionally hilarious episodes, like the Magic Coins, but I am beginning to think that most of the time we'll see things like this one episode, which is a very unrewarding, lifeless, soulless, forgettable experience. Well, hopefully the next one will be more interesting. Doesn't really need much effort to be more interesting than this one. But still, let's hope it's at least a little bit better. Sorry, no clip of the day today, because there really isn't nothing that stands out to me in this episode. So let's have some more Pegasus with hoodies clips. Let's look at the scenery. Look at the olive trees. Look at this is this is my aunt. She's an improvised cameraman for this situation. Say hello. Hello. Okay, and she's going. She's gone apparently. Well, okay. I guess that's the end of it.
Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
We've had several kinds of bad episodes here already. We have the weird bad with tentacle binds. We had the awesome bad, you know, the kind of spectacularly bad, so spectacularly bad it becomes legitimately entertaining. We had the completely forgettable bad that I completely removed, by the way. And we also had the bad episodes that's made great because of the performance of one character that happened to be the focus of that episode. So now we have the terrible bad. You know, the kind of bad that's undeniably bad, not only bad, but also despicable, because it tries to tackle a social issue, it does a terrible, patronizing job at it, and it becomes legitimately despicable. This is the treasure hunting episode in which we are proved, without a shadow of a doubt, that Earth ponies are the inferior race compared to unicorns and pegasi. Why? Because the only one Earth pony in this one cartoon, which by the way it's ridiculous, where are all the other Earth ponies? Completely disappeared. It's proven to be completely useless. She bombs down a game of hide and seek against magical unicorns who can teleport themselves and magically hide themselves, and they can also read minds apparently, which is not creepy at all. Then she used as a goal door for a game of water polo for the sea ponies, which by the way, sea ponies are dicks. And then there is the treasure hunting game, the titular treasure hunting game with the Pegasi. She's paired with a Pegasus, and she's useless. She cannot find a single thing, because all the Pegasi can fly and can find things faster. So, yeah, in the end, she wins the treasure hunting by finding the only one object no one else could find. Not because she was good at it, not because it, had something to do with her particular abilities, which, since she has no character whatsoever, you cannot tell if she has abilities to begin with. No, she just happens across it, and she just happens, by pure luck, to be across it, and she wins the day, and in a very patronizing, super patronizing way, we are spoon-fed the moral that nobody is useless. Even though this cartoon obviously proves that some bodies are useless. So congratulations MLP, G1 MLP, for encouraging, patronizing, a condescending, and overall racism. Oh, and by the way, the object she had to find was this group of furball creatures. It was the result of a very, very silly metaphor that would serve as a life lesson of some kind, that she's supposed to be relating with the furballs because they are pretty much as useless as she is, except no one is useless because patronizing Megan tells us so. In fact, come to think of it, aside from the sea ponies being huge dicks, everyone is a patronizing harlot in this cartoon. Both unicorns and Pegasi are completely patronizing this one isolated Earth pony that cannot do anything, and she's likely bummed out by that. But no, doesn't matter, because by the end of the day, just, happening to win a stupid treasure hunt that doesn't prove anything whatsoever is all it takes to learn that you are not useless. So yes, try to apply that lesson whenever you want to do something that requires magic or flying or abilities that you do not possess, because apparently Earth ponies are the inferior race in this magic fantasy land. I blame Megan.
Want to join the scavenger hunt, sweet stuff? Well, of course you do. What is this last item, Megan? Something that is one, even when it is many.
But that is a
Okay, so they're still playing hide and seek.
Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
Apparently this is a direct continuation of the treasure hunting episode. So they're still playing hide and seek. Okay, let's go with that. The unicorns start to dematerializing, disappearing, vanishing, trying teleportation spells and what have you, during hide and seek, which is cheating, and it ruins the game for everyone else. It does, really. It actually does, it happens there. But, strangely enough, they seem to not reappear. They just vanish. They do not return anywhere else. They're just gone. Well, says Megan, it seems we have a mystery on our hooves. She doesn't really say that, but you get that vibe. So, apparently, all the unicorns simultaneously start to vanishing to try teleportation spell for whatever reason, all together. And of course, because they're dumb like that, they all end up disappearing. It would appear that they ended up in a city of darkness, filled with fog in an alternate dimension. For some reason, and apparently there is a legend of a city of darkness called Tumbalon, if I'm getting this right, which is ruled by a super powerful magical goat king. Hence the horn I have here, even though it's not a goat horn, but whatever. And he has magical powers and red eyes, and he wants to rule the world because why not? And he's been trapped in this city in an alternative dimension of darkness, in the dark. Let's call it the Shadow Realm, because why not? Yu-Gi-Oh reference there. It's been trapped for 500 years. Now it's returning, and it wants to take over the Dream Valley. So all the unicorns are gone, and soon enough the city appears, and the Goat King sends his army of man-pigs to conquer the Dream Valley, which is accomplished in less than 15 seconds. Good going, guys. Good going. So a bunch of survivors that didn't manage to get trapped immediately by the trapping, magic appearing cages of the man-pigs armies, Goat King and what have you, are planning a rebellion. So they're like freedom fighters, and the Goat King is like Dr. Robotnik, if you want to think of a better cartoon than this. Why not, it helps. And the freedom fighters are led by Danny. We're doomed. Super awesome Mary Christ Megan gets captured with the others. Yeah, she's not infallible. That is so refreshing to know, you have no idea. Okay, so a bunch of them are captured, both Pegasi, Earth Ponies, and of course all the other unicorns, and Megan, and so forth. So Danny Boy is left in charge of things, apparently. And I remember distinctly the whole time I was asking myself, where is Wind Whistler? She should be in charge of things. She does appear eventually, and she has the best moment in the entire 4-parter. So, at least there was that, but... she, of course, every moment with Wind Whistler is a moment worth remembering, because Wind Whistler is best pony. At least G1's best pony. So, I really like one line pronounced by Danny Boy at the end of the second part. I think it was the second part. He says,
But we gotta do something soon, or Grogar will rule Ponyland!
"Oh no! That will be such a tragedy!" Another thing that this 4-part episode does is it casually introduces to me, at least, the flutter ponies. You know, those sort of those flying ponies with butterfly wings. Yeah, they exist, and I resent the fact that this DVD set I own, the episodes are not in the proper original run order. So it gets confusing how they are introduced, these characters, to me. And they also casually introduce those weird troll subterranean people that appeared in the My Little Pony movie in 1986, which I discovered this series comes after the movie. So that clears some of my confusions. For example, where is Applejack, Twilight Sparkle, and Firefly? Because they are not here. Yeah. So anyway, back to the episode. Okay. It's... the central portion of it is basically Danny Boy and his freedom fighters trying to either liberate their friends or capture the Goat King. And they have some of the most idiotic schemes ever. I mean, they seriously tried to attract the attention of the Goat King and capture him. Yeah, you know, the God King, the one who has the magic powers to make cages appear out of thin air and can basically blow up doors with his magic powers. Yeah, Danny and his freedom fighters are going to face him. That goes about as well as you might think. He didn't even need to use his magic. He just trying to ram them. Oh yeah, he's a ram actually, not a goat. My mistake. The King Ram Goat with red glowing eyes and his city of darkness, and he wants to trap all the inhabitants of the Dream Valley, which means also the troll people and the furballs and the sea dicks, all of them, and trap them into the dimension of darkness while he is left to rule the valley with his army of man-pig slaves, which are all slaves, by the way. Oh yes, he also has a donkey sidekick, but nobody cares about that. I like the fact that they actually mention the old sage of the forest, which is that one gnome guy that also appeared in the movie, gets captured as well, but we never see him. We're just told he's been captured. We never actually see him in the episode. It's like he's not there to begin with. Ah, great storytelling, guys. It's okay. There are a few moments of legitimate interest, like the ponies going full war against the man pigs. Well, as full wars as My Little Pony standards will go. And there is some moments, yeah, like that, back and forth, and many attempts at escaping and always end up in them going back into the jail. At least 4 different attempts at escaping and all end up in jail. Talk about wasting running time. So anyway, we get to the point that as soon as midnight strikes, all the ponies that are prisoners will end up exiled in the Shadow Realm, so to speak, so they can keep company to, you know, that guy who likes to destroy the world. You know, Zakara's best friend. I don't remember his name, but, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged reference. Put it, whatever reference you like, in there, in this space, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, the Ram Goat King and whatnot. Oh yeah, of course there are songs. There are always songs. And boy, do they cripple the flow of every episode. Every time. Actually, interesting enough, the climax of this entire arc is in song form. Much to my dismay. So the Ram Goat King is defeated by basically them being able to actually escape and convince the rest of the Man-Pig army to escape with them, which was incredibly easy to do, surprisingly. And they just escape, avoid this magic. Oh, and they, of course, they actually toil this ancient, plot-convenient bell they found in the basement. Oh, by the way, about this ancient bell of obvious plot resolution, I like the fact how they keep reminding us, well, wow, this bell we happened to find while we tried to escape the first time might actually be important. Yeah. What else? What else is the... I think that's the majority of it. So yes, lots of stuff happening, and it was not good by any stretch of the word, but it was at least it was entertaining. It was very entertaining. In fact, I had I have a good time with this. And to be fair, the Ram God King might actually be one of the more competent villains to appear in this show. he did manage to take over the entire valley in 15 seconds or less. Of course, then there are the little nitpicky moments, such as, you know, him making appear cages without a ceiling, open cages, and the Pegasi who gets captured in those magically appeared open cages, of course forget that they can fly away! The sea ponies look a bit weird in this. Other than that, yes, this was not a good episode, but again, entertaining at least. You know, I just realized Spike is in this series, but he's a complete non-entity. In fact, Danny Boy is more or less occupying the role that would be of Spike, as in being everyone punching bags or butt of a joke and what have you. You know, it just proves he's terrible at leading ponies or freedom fighters in general. He was hilariously bad at this. Seriously, they should have let Wind Whistler planning the whole thing. She's obviously the only one who knows what she's doing. But anyway, this was the Ram God King City of Darkness Shadow Realm episode, story arc. I managed to finish the first DVD of this whole series. Yeah, that's a milestone, isn't it? Only 3 more to go. Whatever, I'm out!
Interesting. Perhaps the bell is the repository of his power.
Repository? Oh, yeah, right. What'd she say? She thinks the bell might be the source of his magic. Get the bell